Hello, everyone. Since the start of the coronavirus pandemic, we've made it a mission to interview as many people stepping up to help in the fight against this invisible enemy as possible. A particular group has emerged in this moment, innovators. We have seen people up and down the continent lean into tech and find African homegrown solutions to this ongoing problem. Here are just a few of them. Turning our attention now to Mali. If you want something done well, if you want it done right, do it yourself. And that is exactly the attitude of my next guest. He's part of a group of engineers who answered the call of the Malian government when they announced to the public that they had less than 60 ventilators in the country as they prepared for the possible arrival of COVID-19 in that country. The young men stepped up and they created their own homemade invention. I spoke to one of them, Mahamadou Kone, a short time ago. He joined me from Bamako, Mali. Take a listen to his extraordinary story. Mahamadou Kone joins me now from Bamako, Mali. Mahamadou, welcome.
Welcome.
So Mali has less than 60 ventilators in the entire country. You and your partners at Donifab decided to do something about it. You came up with an idea to help. Pick up the story from there. What did you decide to do?
Well, like you said, we have a lack of ventilators or artificial respirators here in Mali, and there were an official communication from the government who actually exposed the problem. If there are enterprises or startups that could help the government to build respirators. And this is, from there, we have the idea if we could do something like that, because our lab is focused on personal gadgets and anything that is that we can imagine in technology. So that's how we decided to give it a try.
And so you decided, I mean, as you do, you decided you were going to create these respirators. Talk to me about the process of doing that. I mean, are you guys trained engineers, at least in medical engineering? I mean, how difficult was this?
Well, I have to say we are autodidacts mainly. We have one engineer who specializes in mobile app development, but the rest of us, we are four, by the way. The rest of us are autodidacts, so we are self-taught programmers.
Wow.
So what we've done is we made researches on artificial respirators, the requirements, and we have seen that we do have the backgrounds to build that kind of thing. And we started making our own researches. Like you said, we started asking experts on how it works, the doctors and all that. So based on all the information we have collected, we built the first version of the respirator that we have brought to the hospital of Pointe, which is one of the biggest hospitals here in Bamako, to be tested. And the medical experts have tested it, not on actual patients, but they have simulated a test, and they had a lot of recommendations about the first version. We didn't have quite a few things, and they had those recommendations. We took notes, and actually we're working on the version 2 of the respirator.
So that's where you're at now, version 2, working on that second prototype. And one assumes that you'll get there sooner rather than later, that everything will be ready and it will be approved by hospitals and other institutions. What's your capacity to produce these, at a large scale?
Well, the laboratory does not specialize in producing things at a large scale. We generally do small scale producing. Mm-hmm. But what we are planning to do is to have a separate unit of production. This could be an entire enterprise at its own if the respirator is validated. We plan to have an enterprise or a company at its own, which will take care of producing at a large scale. First, we have member who will take care of those companies.
Your efforts have gathered attention around the world, which is how we heard about you. I mean, what's the response there in Mali to what you're doing?
Well, we do have positive response, whether it be from the population or from the doctors themselves. They were proud to see at least a version of a respirator, which is a hope for the country. And they have been so much motivated that we actually had a crowdfunding campaign going on, and a lot of people had helped us with all they could do, because now we have a mission. Our mission is to offer 20 respirators to the hospital of Point J as a present. We don't ask them anything. We just want to build those 20 respirators and give as a gift to the hospital of Point J.
And what is the situation there in Mali right now when it comes to COVID cases?
COVID cases, they're rising, unfortunately. The statistics shows that they are rising. We have over 1,000 cases right now, which is nothing compared to some countries, but here it means a lot.
So, Mohamedou, is your lab working on other inventions, other solutions that are needed to problems that have arisen during this pandemic?
Yes, we do. And in fact, we don't. The respirator is not the first solution that we built. We didn't even think of the respirator at the beginning. What we actually did was building a hand wash machine, automatic hand wash machine, because that was the prevention stage. We didn't have any cases when we started building those. So we imagined this hand wash machine to be contact-free, contactless, because what we used to have here, there is the tub, about like kind of a bathtub that you turn to wash the hands and all that. So there is a high risk of contamination in chain. So we wanted to have a solution to stop that. So we thought of a hand washing machine which will be contactless, and that was the first product. And we actually are producing these even right now. People are ordering them from all over, and we're building for them.
That's amazing. So when you hear people say that Africa doesn't have the talent, it doesn't have the brains, the capacity to innovate, to create, solutions for itself or for the problems that we have. When you hear that, what goes through your mind?
Well, I just think maybe they haven't seen any innovation from their perspective. They haven't seen it yet. Maybe otherwise, we do have innovations. We do have inventions. We do have all the things that you just said. Maybe those people don't. I just think they don't know. Maybe.
So, Amadou, what do you see as the potential here for Africa's transformation when you look at tech and you look at the kind of work people like yourself and other young people are doing right now in Africa?
Well, what I see is we'll have a great future. We'll have a great future, especially if the young guys like me engage a lot into technology. Because the problem is a lot of young guys when they engage into technologies, they end up going. They think this is not for Africa. They just think it is too hard. They want to do something else. So I genuinely hope that all the actions that are being taken, and we are not the only, young guys doing great things in Africa. There are other tons of other young guys doing great things, and I hope this will inspire them to focus at least on technology and try to innovate.
Yeah, agreed. I'm sure that we know there are lots of young guys and young girls out there doing this important work. Mohamedou Kone joining us there from Bamako, Mali. Congratulations on getting to the second prototype. I'm fully sending you all the luck and full of belief that you will get that validated and up and running. Congrats for where you are at now and good luck for the future.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care. Be safe.
All right.
This is a really scary situation we're in. This virus is deadly. It is having a huge array of impacts, and a lot of people are scared. Adults are scared. So are children. Children are scared too, and they're trying to figure this out. It's quite clear in how we cater to the adult market and how we get the message across to them. But what about kids? How do we help them make sense of what is happening? They are the most vulnerable. How do we help them understand what a virus is and why they shouldn't touch their faces and why they should wash their hands? Well, I guess the key to all of that would be speaking in their own language in a way that they can understand. Take a look at this clip.
Stay out of my way. I'm going to play football with my friends, and there's nothing you can...
Silence! You think this is funny, eh? You can get the deadly coronavirus.
The gorilla virus?
No, the coronavirus. Do you know what will happen when you do? Do you?
Huh? What will happen?
You will bring the coronavirus home and then infect everyone. Mommy will be sick, no more jollof rice.
Huh?
Daddy will be sick, no more going out to see movies.
Oh no! Not the movies, no!
Even worse, the government will come and take Mommy and Daddy away.
You're just making it up.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
See for yourself.
Okay, it's real. What should we do?
The coronavirus is out there. We should stay at home for now. Always wash our hands with soap and water so we can prevent it from spreading.
Boo! Stay home, stay safe from all of us at Ant Hill Studios.
That is just brilliant. And the man behind that is Nigerian filmmaker Ni Akimoleyan. You may know him as the director of the hugely successful Wedding Party 2. He joins us now from Lagos. Ni, welcome.
Hello.
Hi. Can I just say, it's beautiful. The animation is beautiful. To hear the names Funke and Habib, to see those beautiful brown complexions, to hear jollof rice in an animation. It's just absolutely beautiful. Tell me about the idea for this series of films. I mean, talk to me about how this all started.
Okay, so, just like everywhere else in the world, it was very obvious Nigeria was going to go into a lockdown. It was inevitable. But I think a week before the actual lockdown, they had to shut down schools. So all the schools, closed. And I have a 5-year-old who is very inquisitive. That's about the age, right? And I had to go through the stress of explaining to him, so there's two explanations. Number one, we can't go out. Daddy can't go out. You can't go out. And number two, everyone has to wash their hands. Okay, and he's a kid, so he's not going to buy any scientific explanation, that I was trying really, really hard to make until, and so when your kid keep asking, you keep thinking of the next thing to come up with. And so I said, you know what, this virus is a big monster. So I realized kids understand what monsters are, right? It's a big monster, it's out there. If it catches you, you're going to fall sick. They said, okay, it's not going to catch you. Okay, fine. If it catches daddy and mommy, the authorities will come and take them away, and you're not going to see them for a while. That was when he got scared.
Traumatized the child.
And then he goes, oh, okay, so fine. So he actually asked the question, so what are we going to do? And I said, okay, the first thing is go into the bathroom and wash your hands, and we can talk. And when it happened, I started thinking, oh my God, how are parents dealing with this? I think I put a tweet out, just asking people randomly how they're dealing with explaining to their kids. And I realized that it might be an opportunity there to do something, because we're an animation studio, but we've only done like small bits of animation for advertising and all that. But we're really passionate about storytelling in animation. And I thought, you know what, maybe a few people would see it, maybe it would be on WhatsApp and the likes, but I'm going to do an animation with kids. I'm going to do it in English, in Yoruba, in Hausa, in Igbo. And luckily, prior to that, I got all the animators in the studio to go home with their workstations. So I just reached out to them via Zoom, and, we started working, together. I wrote the script. I called my wife. She voiced Funke. I voiced Habib. And that's how it started. Yes, I was the voice of Habib.
I think I can hear it. I mean, just a little bit. How have they been received? Talk to me about the reception there in Nigeria and everywhere that they're seeing them.
Oh, so it's massive. The first thing that happened where most of the TV houses saw a great opportunity there, but initially they thought I was asking for money, and then they realized that I put the whole thing out free. So what they did was, like, we have the biggest, cable operator, DSTV. They put it on all their African Magic channels, in all the local languages, all the terrestrial stations.
Wow.
What I did was that I also created like small WhatsApp versions, because gossip spreads very fast via WhatsApp in Nigeria. And you thought that, the channel that is making all this gossip move fast, you could also use it to pass some really great information. Now, the feedback I've been getting from parents have been the most exciting one. The first thing they say is, we're running out of soap. Because
now they're just washing their hands non-stop.
Yeah, so they would see the clip, they go wash their hands, they come back, see the clip again, go wash their hands, and all that. So that, and of course, data, because kids constantly watch and watch and watch.
Oh my goodness. Now, people are asking whether they can get this on YouTube. A lot of people are just saying how much they love it. Someone just wrote in and said, please tell me how I can get it so that my kid can stop pestering me. Yes, Desmond can you please share this video so my son will stop pestering me to go out as we used to do? So how can people get hold of it if they're not in Nigeria?
So it's on YouTube, actually. It's on YouTube if you want it. But if you search me, Akimolayo, on any of the social media channels, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, you would see it. On Instagram, it's right up there, link in bio. On Twitter, it's a pinned tweet, but you can just reach out to me and I will send you, the files. What we've also done is that I created a folder where we actually have the music and sound effects files separately in case you want to do it in another language. So we've had people do it in French, in Swahili.
That's amazing.
In Portuguese. And recently someone reached out from Denmark and said they were going to do a Scandinavian version of it. So yeah, that's also available. But the most important thing for me is that there are two Black kids talking to all the children of the world, looking like Black kids with the big Afro hair. That was really special, to me.
So what comes next, Nee? Will there be more? I mean, I'm putting more work on you so that you can burn more parents' data. What are you going to do next?
Well, so the government lightened the lockdown a bit this weekend, and what they did was that they made it compulsory for everyone to wear face masks. Mm-hmm. So we've been thinking maybe that's something we can play with, get the kids to ensure their parents use face masks, and we've actually built a short script around that, and we'll come up with something very soon.
Oh, that's fantastic.
That will be a follow-up, yeah.
That's fantastic, and we definitely, when you've got that done, we'll reach out to get you to come on and talk to us about that. No congratulations, and it's such beautiful work, and you're absolutely right. Even as an adult, it really tugged my heartstrings to see, Black children on screen and in all their agency and beauty. So, Nia Kimoleon, thank you for that work.
Aisha, I'm a big fan, so this is actually a fan moment. I told my wife, oh my God, it's Isha Sesay!
Thank you for that moment, Nick. Please stay safe and come back and see us again soon, please.
I will. Thank you. Thank you very
Take
much.
Care.
Bye.
Take care. Bye. Greek philosopher Plato said, necessity is the mother of invention. And despite the uncertainty of these times, we are seeing innovation and new inventions coming to the forefront as we the coronavirus. A California-based drone company called Zipline has used their drones to deliver vital equipment, vital necessities, vital supplies to parts of the continent that need it most. Take a look at this. So you see there, that's the drone. This company, Zipline, is using drones to deliver masks, gloves, COVID-19 test samples, operating in Ghana. That was the drone taking off. I find this incredible. That's the recipient. Amazing. Tech bridging the gap. And it is just incredible to see how this moment is being transformed by new technologies, new inventions, and the innovations that were already in operation are being scaled up and used in this moment of great need. Let's bring in Daniel Mafo. He's a general manager for Zipline, and he joins me now live from Ghana. Daniel, welcome.
Thank you, Aisha.
Whenever I see that video, my mouth is just open. I just can't believe that. I not even so much I can't believe it. I think I'm just so heartened to see how tech and innovation is stepping in this moment. Can you tell me a little bit about Zipline and what you're doing right now during this pandemic?
All right, thank you. So Zipline is a healthcare logistics company, and we primarily reimagine what logistics could look like. So we're bringing the future today, if I can put it that way. And essentially, even before COVID-19, what we've been doing in Ghana is delivering blood products, medical products, vaccines to focusing on the rural communities where the roads are terrible. If it rains, communities are cut off from the city centers, and making sure that the people there are not left out when it comes to having vital medical supplies. Now, focusing on COVID-19, what we've been doing is we've still been continuing what we are doing routinely, supplying medicines, medical products, vaccines, blood. Empowering the frontline health workers by making sure we can deliver to them PPEs, hand sanitizers, the test kits that they need in case they have suspected COVID-19 patients. And as recently as last week, we took another step where we are now in reverse logistics, where we are bringing suspected samples that have been taken from patients to the two main testing labs in the two largest cities of Ghana. And it's very exciting for us because it's the first time that autonomous drones have actually been cleared to fly into urban areas, having millions of people. It's the first time that any drone company has been able to use reverse logistics to deliver test samples from a rural area into an urban area. And we've just gone from a place where we've empowered these people who would have had to make hours and hours of drive journey into the city center to deliver the samples, to get it from there to the testing labs in under an hour.
And I just want to jump in there on that point of time. I mean, time is of the essence, in a fight like this against coronavirus. And you are recalibrating you're recalibrating the response in some ways. I mean, talk to me about the difference this makes when you're saving time in this way.
Yeah, it's just incredible. So just imagine being in a small village, and you're a frontline health worker, and you have 2 suspected patients who have COVID come. You're in a small village, so you don't have the luxury of an ambulance. You don't have the luxury of being able to just have a vehicle on hand which can whisk away to the city center. So the practice is they try to even organize the vehicle before they start testing these people. Mm-hmm. So you would at times just want to gather maybe 5-6 suspected patients before you even try to put it in a vehicle, to send, because it's not efficient that way if you're in a village. And imagine the anxiety that someone who has reported to the hospital, maybe negative, maybe positive. Imagine the anxiety of just being kept telling you to wait for 2 days for your sample to be taken. It's wrenching. Yeah. So being able to say that, look, you walk in, we can take your sample almost immediately. We can get your sample from that point to the city center and have a quick turnaround of your results so that we know whether we're supposed to treat you or send you home. It's just life-changing for those people.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, what are some of the associated challenges, though, with operating something like this, in this kind of environment? I mean, talk to me. It must have some I don't want to say difficulty, but challenges. Give us some insight.
Yeah. Yes. So the initial challenges that we had was actually getting approval to be able to fly something like this safely. As you can imagine, flying biohazards in any standard is very difficult, but flying it autonomously is quite challenging in its own way. So to work with aviation regulators to get the necessary approvals. As you can imagine, there is COVID is quite new, so there isn't a lot of information. So we had to do a lot of engineering, working with a lot of stakeholders on how we can even transport this safely, and working, assuming, the drone couldn't even make it there. How do we make sure we don't expose people? Mm-hmm. So those were some of the real challenges. And also working with our healthcare stakeholders to give them confidence to even use this. Mm-hmm. It's quite challenging in that right. But with the frontline health workers, they were most relieved to be able to have this as an option to get, the samples to the testing labs.
You're operating in Ghana, that I know. What about further afield, other countries? What's happening?
So we also operate in Rwanda, and in Rwanda, we are still working with our partners there to see if we can get to the point of using drones to transport samples. But the other things we're doing in Rwanda is we are focusing on providing relief for cancer patients who, because of the strict lockdown, can no longer come into the city center for their chemotherapy treatment. As you can imagine, some of them are on medications that they can only get from the hospitals. So what we've done there is, if they can't come to the city center, we'll get their medications to them. So we've partnered with the nearest health facilities to these patients, and we are flying their cancer medication once it's been approved by their doctors in Kigali and getting it to them there. And it's been a huge relief. One thing people forget about COVID-19 is there are a lot of chronic patients, diabetics, hypertensive, who because of this cannot easily go to the hospital. And a sad secondary effect is these people might also lose their lives. So if we're able to get their medications and using other technologies like telemedicine, and we stepping in and providing an ability to get their medications to them exists, we are not just saving those who would have COVID-19, but potentially the millions of people who might be secondary, should I use, casualties of the current state.
Yeah, well, Daniel Moffat, it's incredible work that you guys are doing. It is timely. It's a necessity. I want to thank you for joining us here today, just to share some insights into the work Zipline is doing. Thank you so much for the work you're doing, and thank you for making time for us today.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Take care now. As we've told the story of this pandemic, we've also seen ordinary Africans get off the sidelines and give their time, their energy to helping those in their community make it through this momentously trying time. We call these people everyday heroes and believe that everybody should know about the work that they're doing. This one is a very, very special story. This is a story about a man who is 95 years young and is doing his part to make a difference in this very difficult moment that is affecting so many people. Because really there are two types of people in the world. There are those who are doers and there are those who are sayers. And our next guest is a man who's a doer. He has put his mind to doing something, and he's out there converting his words into action. I'm talking about Private Joseph Hammond, who's a World War II veteran. He was a member of the Gold Coast Regiment of the Royal West African Frontier Force, a group that fought alongside the British in World War II. And his commitment didn't stop when the war ended. In fact, in this moment, he has recommitted himself to saving people, to saving humanity. Take a look at his effort, an effort to make a difference at 95 years young. Take a look.
Mr. Hammond, how are you feeling this morning?
Fine, terrific.
Sure?
Terrific. I'm not a pessimist, but optimist. I have seen the donations coming in, and I'm appealing to everybody in Africa to contribute so that we will have a colossal sum of money to help the frontline people. This is what I want. Derek, you can see that I'm okay. Look, yes. Maybe I'm trotting. I'm trotting. My hands on my back, sir. Greetings, sir.
Are you ready to do this?
I'm ready.
So, Private Hammond, Abeku Santana, third day, let's go.
Thank you.
Nice and easy.
The clock is at home, right? Wonderful. No way, I'm in trouble. Shall we go call it? You are in trouble. A couple of days later, we learned that we were ordered to. We didn't get to see.
All right, Private Hammond, 6 miles in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well done, Private Hammond, well done. 6 miles, 6 miles. There you go. How do you feel?
Glory to the Lord. Thank you, Jesus.
And did you enjoy your walk today?
Perfect. You know the man who motivated me?
Who?
My brother Abeku Santana. He's a genius. He made my work so nice, beautiful, and I don't feel anything. I'm not tired at all. If people like you are condoming me always, I can walk about 10 miles. Sorry, I can walk about 50 miles.
Well, inspired by UK captain who's raising money by walking in his garden, Private Hammond is doing the same thing as you saw there, walking 2 miles a day for a week to raise money for PPEs for COVID-19 workers and the vulnerable in Ghana, for vulnerable African veterans. He joins me now from Accra to talk about his efforts. Private Hammond, welcome.
Thank you. Hello, Ida. I'm extremely happy to see you.
I am extremely happy to see you. Thank you. Thank you for what you're doing in this moment. It's just incredible. Are you surprised by how many people have come out to support you?
Yeah. Well, I would like to say, please endeavor at your level best to help me to raise funds, colossal amount of money, not only Africa, but the whole world. Because the COVID-19 is the whole world, not Africa alone. So I'm appealing to everybody. Little drops of water makes a mighty ocean. So the little that you can contribute, at the end of the day, is going to be a very colossal amount of money to help the frontline people, doctors, nurses, everybody involved, corporate organizations. I'm appealing to all of you to help to raise the money. Private
Hammond, at 95, is it hard, this walking that you're doing? Is it difficult for you?
I'm as strong as a fiddle. I'm very strong. And I can walk 10 miles again. I don't worry at all. I'm very strong. By the grace of the Lord, He gives me the strength. I pray quietly in my head, and so I continue to do this thing. So I believe fervently that I will succeed.
And you saw the UK captain doing this fundraising effort, and that's how you decided to do this. Tell me more.
Yes, Sir Tom Moore. Now it's knighted. So he said, Tom Moore said. So I honestly, when I saw what he did, it inspired me a great deal. Being a veteran himself that fought in Burma, I also did the same thing. So I said, why not? If somebody has done it at approximately 100 years, I'm also 95. Why can't I also do it to help the people in Africa? So I am back on this work. I believe fervently that what he did actually inspired me. It motivated me to do it. God being so good, I've been able to achieve my aim. And I'm prepared to go further.
And how much further are you prepared to go, Private Hammond?
I tend to hit the 30 miles. I've done 14 miles now. This is the first phase. The second phase, I'll embark on it next week. And I'm going to do it. I will walk about 16 miles to add up to the 14, making 30 miles.
Make 30 miles.
I want you to feel very proud.
I am tremendously proud, and everybody who's watching is proud, and they want to know how to donate, Private Hammond. We will get that information. Do you know off the top of your head how we can give money to support?
Okay, UK, everybody, all over the world, I'm appealing. I'm not leaving anybody, ministers, government officials, everybody involved. The little that they can afford to do it, I'll be very happy.
So we will post that information on our page so that people know where to send contributions. Private Hammond, for the young people who are watching, what do you want to say to them to encourage them to also stand up and help in this moment?
I thank you. This question is very good. You see, if I, at the age of 95, have been able to do this, what about the 20, 25, 30? I want all of them to involve, to do it, because I'm doing it for everybody, especially the young ones too. So they have to emulate me to do the same thing. I hope they can do it, you know? So please, whatever you can afford to give, I'm raising funds to hit, actually, from the inception, I wanted everybody to get the fund about $600,000. 500,000 is equivalent pounds. So if I'm able to read that, I'll be able to, so that we buy the equipment, gloves, everything for the frontline people. Mm-hmm. Without the money, we can't do anything. So I'm appealing.
And this isn't just for the PPEs, it's also for vulnerable veterans, right?
Yes, vulnerable veterans too. It is very good. You know, these people are feeble. Some of my colleagues are 98, 97, and so forth. I'm 95. I mean, within their distance. So please, you do it. Whoever does it, the Lord will help him. The Lord will bless him to do it. We want to eradicate completely the COVID-19 from the face of Africa. So I'm determined to do it.
And how do you feel in terms of the response there in Ghana, the government response to COVID-19? You've been watching it, you've lived many years and seen many things. How is it going, the response?
Oh, they are doing extremely well. They have been contributing and everything they are doing. You see, so I want everybody to do it. The government is doing marvelously well. Marvelously well.
But Private Hammond, I do believe that people who have your seniority in age, you're supposed to be staying at home. So I want to make sure that you're staying safe.
Safe. I'm strong. Yes, I'm strong. You know the reason. When the heart, this is everything, that keeps me going. When somebody offends you, forgive the person. And you keep it that way, because if you don't forgive, we always pray that God forgive us. So if somebody offends you, why don't 2 minutes forget about it and you keep moving? You see, this is a secret. If you want to stay alive, to achieve an old age, please, everybody must learn to forgive. Even Jesus said, when somebody slaps you, somebody asks the question. It says 7 times, 10 here, 7 times. It does not mean that you are a lunatic. It means forgiveness. That's all.
You're right, brother.
Yes. Proverbial talk. Jesus said, tell this, it means peace always is good.
Before I let you go, your family, they're in support of you walking another 16 miles?
They are happy. That depends on myself, not them. I'm doing it. You see, I cannot ask somebody permission before I do it. I'm doing it wholeheartedly from my heart. It is me who walk, not them.
Private Hammond, it's such a pleasure to speak to you. Thank you so, so much. We ask you to be safe while you're doing this. We are all so proud of you. And we thank you for the lessons that you've given us about forgiveness and how we all have to do our part. We are going to get your information so we can share it for how people can donate. We will all donate to support you.
Thank you.
All right.
I believe you will lead the way. Others will follow.
I will do my part. I will do my part. Thank you. Thank you so much, Private Hammond. Thank you.
Thank you too. And God bless. God bless.
Thank you. Thank you. You too. We know that with disaster comes destruction and chaos. That's a fact. We also know that in these moments, more often than not, we see the best of humanity. We see everyday heroes step up, step into the gap that opens up and care for the most vulnerable and the needy in their communities. You've already heard of countless stories like that, and we like to share the ones we come across here on Home with Isha Sesay. And today we want to share another one with you, this time from Kenya. Recently, a young doctor tweeted this, and it said, "Any lady in this curfew and COVID time who feels they're unable to reach hospital and they are in labor or have an emergency, kindly reach out and I'll do my best to intervene." That tweet was sent by Jemima Kariuki. She joins me now from Kenya's capital, Nairobi. Jemima, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining me. I can hear you. Thank you so much for being with me, for being with the viewers. Talk to me about what led you to putting out that tweet.
First, thank you so much for everything. I think we got a tweet from one of the doctors in one of the areas, in one of the sub-county areas of Kitui, which is in the rural community, where he was saying how he's seen 3 very, very poor cases, very poor outcomes in hospitals based on this COVID curfew. Our country has instituted a curfew from 7 till 5 a.m., which means that in that period, there's no public transport, there's no cab transport, there's nothing other than the essential workers, which include doctors, include healthcare workers, include police service and the likes. So when that tweet came out, I was quite sad because, okay, that was quite sad. So I reached out to him and I asked him exactly what's going on. And he told me how we have patients coming in with bleeding continuously, bleeding a whole night, patients who come with retained placenta, patients who are coming in almost dead. Soon after, there was another publication in the news that one woman had actually bled to death after delivering her baby. So the baby luckily survived, but the mom had bled out. And in this day and age, honestly, that's not one of the things you want to hear as a doctor, as a mother, as anyone. You don't want to hear that someone is dying in childbirth. So I have special interest in obstetrics and gynecology. I'm actually doing my residency in obstetrics and gynecology. So basically, I was like, we need to do something as an obstetric community. And at the time, everyone was like, the government should do something about it. And I was like, but they're dying daily. So what do we do now? So I actually just tweeted. In the beginning, I had no clear picture of what I would do. Back on my mind, I thought I'd just drive and go and I don't know, deliver or take them to hospital or something. Like I would just do whatever it is that I would be able to do based on where they were. So yeah, that's what led to the tweet.
You put out the tweet, and what was the response?
It was something beyond me. Like I did not anticipate the kind of. I'm on Isha Sesay. Like it was.
I mean the serious response. Don't count me. I'm talking about the real work you're doing. Tell me what. I mean, I'm stunned.
So basically, by the next day, I had gotten so many calls from very many women, most of them expectant, almost due. So 36 weeks, 37 weeks, almost going to 40 weeks. They had not gone for clinics since we had the whole COVID thing. So many were just scared. What happens? What do I do? So it became a journey of guiding the women. These are the danger signs. This is what happens. And I would get calls as late as 5 a.m., 4 a.m., text all through the day. So I'm kind of doing night shift every day. But basically, many women just let me know that I really did not know what to do. At least now I can do something, or I know who to reach. And then after a few days, because that reach has been up a week. So the last 3 days, I'm actually being called by women in labor. Wow. So the first day I was called, So the first day I was called by woman
when they're actually in labor.
Basically triage and find out exactly how far along are you. So the first day was funny because I called the emergency service cares, the ambulances. I really did not know how costly they were. But
what did they say?
I called them, and I had to do a lot of linking between the emergency care and the hospital. And luckily, we were able to get people to get the patient to the hospital. But that showed me that we have an issue with facilitating the transport. Yes. So after that, I was able to reach to my consultants, my seniors, and to try and see what can we do. So from then, it's been meeting after meeting of trying to find a way around it, and how can we get transport to these particular facilities, geomapping of our hospitals, because some of those things don't come to light until someone is actually working on ground. And today, right now, actually, a patient who called me yesterday, in hospital, from their homes, I was able to get an emergency cab for them, and they were here. So I've actually just reviewed her, and she's okay. The baby is fine, no complications. It's just a blessing to me.
It's an enormous blessing. How does it make you feel knowing that in this moment, and when people were just saying, oh, this is the government's job, and nobody can do this. It's like, and you said no. We can come up with a plan, and you're now actually putting that plan into practice. You're helping people. How does it make you feel?
More often than not, overwhelmed, because I really did not anticipate such a huge burden. But after that, I feel blessed. I feel so blessed, because it's not every day that you feel like God's using you directly to impact so many people and to bring in so many different stakeholders. And it's amazing watching even my teachers come in and come up with such amazing ideas. And every day you're like, okay, this is a step further. This is a step further. Hopefully by the end of this, we'll have a system running that we have doctors on call, and people who can, ambulances on standby that are free or subsidized. And it's just a blessing every single day, like every small step, like getting that woman to this hospital and seeing them now and seeing that baby. She delivered at 4 a.m. That means she could not have waited,
longer. And what's been the reaction? What's been the reaction locally as the word has spread that, you've taken charge of this effort?
It's been amazing. So many of the public, actually, just the public are quite happy. I think from that tweet, I got 3,000. Like, I've never gone more than three tweets, 3,000 and beyond. I even had to learn how to use these things because, wow. Wow. The what I've gotten from the public is just a lot of goodwill. And I pray that goodwill continues and that someone else will uptake somewhere else, because I'm sure it's not just maternal health. There are people with strokes, with, so many issues, or even food. There are people who don't have food. There are people on the roads without a place to stay. So if everyone can do their own small part, I believe we'll all do something amazing by the end of the day. Yeah.
You brought tears to my eyes, I will tell you that. I'm so incredibly moved by your efforts, and my producer's saying in my ear she's crying as well. You've deeply touched us by your efforts. I hope you're ready for all the babies that are going to be called Jemima There's going to be a whole bunch of children named after you. I want to thank you personally and on behalf of the entire team and all the viewers who are watching and all saying amazing thank you. God bless, amen. Like all these people who are saying amazing in response to what you're doing. Thank you. Thank you for the work you do. Stay safe out there. And we're proud of you. I can say that from here. We're proud of you. Well, I hope that you found the show inspiring and it gave you a different view of this pandemic. We will be back here tomorrow. You know what that means. It's Wednesday, so it's Deep Dive Wednesday. Another great conversation with an expert. Be sure to join us. Same time, same place. Bye for now.
Thank you.